We'll be starting here in a second, guys. Welcome to the pre-show. If you have any news or rumors that you would like to share with us, let us know. We've got... Oh my goodness. Do you ever look at the word counter, Rowdy?
No.
Don't do it.
I would be...
Don't do it.
It's...
There might be like
bad,
3,500 words that are on this prep document.
It's not surprising.
Not surprising at all. All right. So, and everybody can see all the lovely things that I follow over here on the left. Today we're doing this on Discord. We thought it might be a little bit better than Skype. So, because Skype does weird things. Although I think part of me is cut off, but whatever.
It sets it up a little different on Discord. Like, it's easier to move the cameras and stuff because, you know, we're new to all this and haven't figured out any other type of recording situation where we can move all of that.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of, different podcasts or video podcasts and how they've been dealing with the pandemic and stuff with all of their equipment and stuff like that. So, like... you'll see, like, during some of the podcasts when it's, like, multiple people, how the producer or somebody will be moving, like, pictures around to, like, set them in borders and stuff. And, like, just in the middle of it, be like, oh, I don't like that. And then just start moving stuff again.
Hey, by the way, there is a rumor in the chat right now. Skylar heard a rumor about your mom.
God, I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I know, yeah. That's literally written there. It's great. It's the best rumor I've seen. All right. Okay. Oh, cool. I can pop out the chat to the side. Fancy.
Wait. Why am I flipped in Twitch?
Because that's the way this program works. For some reason, Discord flips it because it's, you know, it's like the weatherman thing, right? You know that your left hand is on this side, your right hand is on this side.
But I'm not flipped in Discord.
That's a good question. That is not for us to know. The mysteries of the universe are vast and many. But there are some things we just can't answer. All right. Okay. I'm going to... You ready for the party?
No.
Okay, that's cool.
Input, microphone, create track, mono.
Okay, where can I hide this at so I can see it easier? There we go. Hey, look, I can show the chat over here. Cheating. Yeah.
Well, aren't you just so
I am
fancy?
So fancy.
I got to get closer to the mic. Okay.
All right. I'm yelling at the mic already. It has begun.
Okay.
All right.
So I've got... Hang on. So I've got Logic pulled up. Everything's reading. Have the notes pulled up. Have Twitch pulled up.
Let me pull up Audition. Okay, so May newscast, and once again, 44-100.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Should have done this beforehand, huh? It's giving me fits right now.
It's whatever.
Oh, come on. You can hear me through the... Oh, it's trying to do the output to something dumb. Okay, so let me fix the problem on my end real quick. Audio hardware. Output needs to be... Default input is that thing. All right, I think I am... Everything is copacetic.
Oh, crap. Hang on. Okay.
Oh, everything's wrong now. What's up?
PS Now games. I can't find...
Last minute.
I can't find the June game, so I'm just going to put the games that showed up in May on PS Now.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, they don't really announce them on the Xbox, at least, for next month, so I didn't even bother. Like, there was one, because it was like, you know, that game.
Let's see.
I'll say it in a bit in the news. I'm trying to remember what it was. The Sky game, No Man's Sky, is going to be coming in June. The Game Pass. I'm excited about that. I bought it on PC back before. I mean, when everybody hated it. Now everybody loves it, right?
I loved it then.
Yeah, I did too. I liked it.
I knew what it was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody freaked out because, I don't know, they just had higher expectations of it.
Mm-hmm. They had high hopes.
I mean, the game was only what, $40 to begin with, anyways.
Yeah, it was for what it was doing in the procedurally generated worlds up into the, was it quintillions? It was like a ridiculous number. It was a really cool concept.
So anytime a game comes out and it's $40, I don't expect a full game out of it or the best game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually really enjoy games that come out in the $40 range, just because I know what I'm getting into. There we go.
All right, I got my stuff started over here recording. So, yeah, it looks like everything's running. Man, it always scares me to see the refresh rate so low on this whenever everything's running on my computer.
Okay.
It's just absolutely frightening.
Think I have everything ready to go. Pull up Logic.
Waiting for my computer to heat up.
Okay, so we wait?
No, I'm ready. Let's go.
Oh, well, let me pound this.
Oh, espresso. I got coffee. Yeah. Coffee or die.
That was a medium espresso shot, so it wasn't too ridiculous.
Fancy. You still using the nano presso or mini presso or?
Yeah, we got the Nespresso pod attachment.
Yeah.
So like normally, like I know we talked about it, but I don't think we've seen y'all.
It's been a while, dude. By the way, we are gonna do a little bit of barbecue tomorrow, but Heather and them will be around if you want to join in.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll see. But no, so like when I first got the Wakako.
By the way, Skylar, that goes to y'all too. I know she's watching.
You put the espresso in, pack it down, make everything. Well, the Nespresso pod attachment is super awesome because literally you just take the Nespresso pod, pop it in there, screw everything down, put your water in, pump it out, and you're good to go. And it's like a Keurig cleanup almost, but I don't feel as bad about it because they're made out of metal.
Yeah, they're aluminum.
Made out of plastic.
Yeah.
So I don't feel bad.
I'm looking at there's a new one on Indiegogo called the Neo Flare. It's an espresso maker, and it's like the handle type. It's cheaper than their other ones, which are like $200. It's like $100. So I'm thinking about doing that. Kind of weird preheating. You put the little thing in the bowl and stuff like that, but whatever. All right, I need to stop talking about coffee. Maybe we need a coffee podcast. Cheap coffee people making good coffee.
Get Dino in on that one.
Oh, we should get Dino in on that.
Okay, Logic. All right, got the metronome turned off. And okay, I'm recording. Okay, yeah, I'm getting.
Do I need to clap?
I'm getting waves. No. I was just checking my waveform.
I'll tell you later, Skylar. Now she's gonna have to worry about it the whole podcast.
Okay. And hey, what happened?
What happened?
Okay, never mind. My bad. I was looking at Twitch and not Discord, and your mouth was moving, but there was nothing coming out.
Yeah. I mean, you can
get Twitch.
Oh yeah, you can see the chat and the Discord too. Or you can't see it on the Discord. Lame.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, are you recording? You ready?
I am.
All right.
Man, that turned red.
Wait.
Do we clap yet?
No, not yet.
Man, why am I coming in so hot right now? You put a delimiter on me or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fine.
I can
It's
yell.
fine in post.
It's great. Just gonna break
All
people's ears on Twitch.
All right, you ready to clap?
Yes, sir.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Hello, Lamer Gamers. This is Simply Travis and
Rowdy 5000
for the official podcast of the Lamers and Working Class Gamers. And welcome to the Lamer Gamers May News Roundup. This episode is part of the service we provide for the people who don't have the time to keep up with all the news and the Twitters and the Twitches now and the Reddits. So we're going to break down the top news from the month for each console and sort of a mixture of multi-platform and PC stuff we find interesting, along with the most convincing rumors, the most ridiculous fake gaming news, and games that released for May. Also, games that are coming up in June. Now, as a quick note, we are no longer going to say the name of the current sickness plaguing our land. Instead, we shall refer to it as the gobbles. Because if you don't wear a mask while eating garbage turkeys, you'll most definitely get the gobbles. Now, it's really ridiculous, but the unfortunate reality of content creation at this moment does not allow those of us to speak of the virus on our shows, because the people that power the shadows on the wall at Google and Twitter and all those will actually make our podcast less visible to the public. So, little change. If you hear us talking about the gobbles, you know what we're talking about. Yeah. Now that we've broken down our 100th piece of gear we looted from the mobs of boxy-looking zombies and creepers, then enchanted said armor and weapons with the ability to bring lightning down from the heavens to smite these low polygonal minions.
Nerd.
Let's get started.
Cue the music.
We need thunder and lightning sounds.
Yeah, I can do that.
That's what we need, Rowdy.
Yeah.
Bringing lightning down on those. All right, you want to start off the Sony news stuff?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Let me hit record here again.
Oh, yeah, I got to
Pull
clap.
up the notes.
I'm just going to drop my coffee at the same time. No. Shatter
All right,
everywhere.
you ready?
Yeah.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Before we get started with the Sony news, if this is your first time listening to our podcast, head over to lamergamers.com/subscribe to find out your favorite, to find us on your favorite podcast player.
Yeah.
Dude, we're in a lot of places that I didn't know we were in.
Everywhere. Except I took us off of SoundCloud. And
I mean,
iHeartRadio.
that's cool. We were never on iHeartRadio.
Yeah. I mean, when
They're
we start
gone.
our SoundCloud rap career, we'll be back there, I'm sure. But yeah.
I can rap like a SoundCloud rapper.
We all
it's not
can.
hard.
We all, I mean, you can
I
make
can
the
totally rap.
beats and we could just kind of mumble over it. It'll be
I mean,
awesome.
that's literally all it is.
Yeah. All right, Rowdy, what's the news?
All right. I kind of didn't put this in any particular order, so I'm just going to start from the top here. The Last of Us 2 State of Play was released. It looks amazing.
Does it now?
I don't know if you've seen this, but the State of Play for The Last of Us 2, I mean, just from the beginning to the end, I was on the edge of my seat. So everybody
I
was
actually
worried about
watched
this
it, by
game.
the way, even though I'm not
Did
as...
you?
I did, and I have thoughts for you in a minute.
Okay, so what's crazy about this this one is, you know, everybody was freaking out because the game was pretty much leaked. So a lot of the main parts were leaked. So a lot of people who got review copies had already had the game spoiled for them. So they were asked while playing their review copies if the game was completely spoiled for them. They said basically all of the videos were of the game and that was spoiled. But basically any other rumor that was just written about, not put in video, was not in the game. So just don't go looking for the videos. You'll be fine. What else was there about? The game looks absolutely amazing. From beginning to end, they say it's one of Naughty Dog's biggest games yet. Oh my god!
So
I didn't
there
write down any notes. I
there
just said
are
it was
some
awesome.
things that I found really interesting with it that I think will also be a little frustrating for some people. Uh, One, the system for going to the next quest or the next objective, or if you're next to near something, the blades of grass and the wind shift everything in the background, and you're supposed to follow the wind direction, right?
Different game.
Oh, what am I thinking of?
That's Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, okay. Well, I lied. I was thinking of Ghost of Tsushima. I looked at the thing underneath it. That's what the problem was. Okay.
No. Last of Us 2. So you
Oh.
haven't watched The Last of Us 2 stage?
No, I haven't. I lied. I'm sorry. I'm going to talk
Okay.
about that next. I was looking at the next game.
Gotcha. So Last of Us 2, like I said, utterly amazing. One thing they have changed about the game, you now have a dedicated jump button, which you didn't have in the first game. The game also has a lot more, what do they call it? Verticality, I think it's what they called it. So there's a whole lot of going under enemies, going above enemies. You could use ropes to climb up stuff this time around. You could throw the ropes. Like sometimes you'll be in an area that's above the main part of the level, so you could throw a rope down so that you can get back to it. You could use that to your advantage when taking out enemies as well, which wasn't really that big of a thing in the first one. They also showed this awesome sequence where they used they're not zombies, the infected, I guess.
Zombies, mushroom zombies.
I mean, yeah, because it's more of a parasite type thing.
Mushroom parasite zombies.
There was a part where they showed where they were in a subway, an abandoned subway station, and some of the, God, what is it, the Washington Liberation Front or the Scars? There's two factions that you're going up against. The Scars are these super religious, crazy cult zealots that they do a lot of stealthy stuff. I think this was the Washington Liberation Front, though, that was it, because they had a lot of guns and stuff. So they took, Ellie takes a brick, throws it against the side of one of the subway cars. Well, the infected come running after him. So you could use that to your advantage to take out a lot of the enemies instead of rushing in head first. Oh my God!
Isn't there another PlayStation game like that where you're dealing with like large masses of zombies? Is it similar to that?
No, because there's never that many.
What's that game called again?
Days Gone.
Okay, yeah.
So in Days Gone, there could be hundreds of zombies on the screen at a time. Like or at least in The Last of Us 1, I mean, I never saw more than maybe 10, 20 of them on the screen at a time. So it's not as ridiculous as that. In Days Gone, man, you would have hundreds of zombies because you had to clear out hordes of zombies for certain areas. But basically, Last of Us 2, it's going to be absolutely amazing. You should definitely check out the state of play for it. It looks absolutely awesome. The only complaint that I've been seeing, though, is that in the video, they had to kill a dog.
I can't play the game now. My wife won't let me. Actually, I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed. I don't like how many wolves come and attack you that make sad dog noises and surround sound. Just saying.
Yeah, that was the main thing that like got everybody about the dog, because they threw a Molotov cocktail at this guy. Who it's his guard dog. Oh, that's another thing in this game. So there weren't dogs in the first one. In this one,
do you have dog meat?
No,
the dog, not edible dog meat. I mean the dog from Fallout. Bad transition.
So the dogs can sniff you out.
Oh, okay,
so
cool.
Normally you would hide from enemies. Well, these dogs can sniff you out. But yeah, so you throw a Molotov at this guy, and then the dog makes this god awful yelp. It was terrible. I hated it. But the game's gonna be good.
So tell me about this next one on the list that I accidentally started talking about.
Ghost of Tsushima. So I talked about it a little bit last time. But I'll go with some of the stuff here. Ghost of Tsushima is Sucker Punch's biggest game yet. This is a quote from creative director and art director Jason Connell. Uh, it's a lot bigger than infamous Second Son, which, by the way, was a huge game. It's definitely Sucker Punch's biggest game we've ever made by a landslide, both in the amount of stuff that's in it and also just the sheer landscape, square footage wise. Um, they also in this they also said that Ghost of Tsushima has done away with the karma meter, which was so big in the infamous games. I don't know if you've ever seen anything about any of the infamous games, but you basically played as a superhero. Um, you get these powers at the beginning of a game because of crazy stuff that happens, and then you basically choose if you're going to be good or bad, and then you have abilities that you can only get by being either good or bad with your karma meter.
Gotcha.
So they've done away with that in Ghost of Tsushima, but uh, the way that I have seen it described, the way that you play this game is either the honorable samurai, that's where you face everybody head on and they know you're there, or the dishonorable ghost, which plays more like an Assassin's Creed game. The way you sneak up on them, set traps, distractions, and things like that.
So what I gathered, because I actually did watch the thing for Ghost of Tsushima, not Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
That was a mess up. Sorry about that. But it looks a lot like Assassin's Creed. Like a lot. Like even the little thing whenever you're being notified, the little like, I guess less than a quarter circle or more than a quarter circle with an arrow is pointing to where people are noticing you.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's
just a normal thing in what you call.
Yeah, that's
games.
also in like Bethesda games. Like
that is
you
true.
see that a lot in Skyrim and Oblivion and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe Fallout as well. God, all the hours I played in Fallout, you'd think I'd remember. But no, that's just a big thing in a lot of those stealthy games.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good system. It's a good way to kind of show where things are happening around you.
Yeah, because I don't think I could play a stealth game if they didn't have that meter showing you where somebody was. Because I was going to say, I haven't really played any of the Metal Gear Solid games, but I don't know if those tell you where they're coming from.
Now, I will say, I will finally mention it. I do like the system to where your next goal or objective, it moves the grass and the trees and the wind along with it. I do have the right game this time, right?
Yes.
Okay. But I think that is going to be frustrating because I know whenever I want to go do an objective that's way on the other side of a map somewhere, I kind of like to know where I'm going. I think it's going to be an interesting thing. I hope they still allow those of us that don't want to stare at the trees and the grass, the ability to look up where things are happening. But it's an interesting concept. I think it'll be fun to have on a full, 4K screen just to kind of be absorbed into the atmosphere of the game.
So it's weird the way that it works because you have a map and you have objectives on a map.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't have an on-screen compass in
Right.
your HUD. So it's kind of weird because, I mean, like most games will have the map and then tell you like where to go. Like I know we've all been on an Assassin's Creed kick lately.
Mm-hmm.
So when you mark a spot on the map for Assassin's Creed, then you see like on the HUD you have like how many meters away it is and stuff like that. So this game doesn't have that. You just like you said, the wind blows, and whichever way the grass and everything starts to blow, that's the way that you go. It is more obvious in some areas because like they'll have like cherry blossoms floating through the air and stuff like that. So it's not like you can't see which way it's going. It's just, to me, it's going to be pretty annoying having to hit that button over again to have the wind blow that direction. But we'll see. Like at first, I was against this game. I mean, I really like Sucker Punch, but I have post-traumatic Sekiro disorder.
Yeah, I understand.
This game looked a lot like Sekiro. So I was like, We'll see.
So
But no,
what's
it looks
next?
really next to see here. So PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan was recently asked what he thought about having PS5 games be playable on PS4. Well, Ryan said, "We believe that when you go to all the trouble of creating a next-gen console, that it should include features and benefits that the previous generation did not include, and that, in our view, people should make games that can make the most of these features."
Ooh.
So this was kind of his way of beating around the bush, saying there that Sony is uninterested in making games. Would that be backwards compatible?
I think it basically means throw out your PS4 because they want you to get a PS5 immediately. Because they
Yeah.
aren't making games for it anymore. It's gone.
So then what they've I think I put that later on in here.
Now, I will say that is a pretty drastic difference in philosophy compared to the Xbox Series X, which is basically saying, update when you're ready. We're going to make games for both of them at the same time for quite a while.
Yeah, but that's been everybody's philosophy up until now.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, stop making games for the last one because the new one's out. And I mean, and like, what's his name? Phil Spencer was saying they're more in it for the titles right now than the actual hardware.
Right.
So that's why they're having all these games that you could play on your Xbox One. I won't need to upgrade for a while because I mean the only reason I really have an Xbox One is to play the what is it, Xbox only titles.
Yeah.
So I mean I
Game
won't need to
Pass,
upgrade for a while. But yeah, so he's uninterested in that. I have something. I think I might have put it in the backwards compatibility section, but I'll go ahead and start talking about it now. They've now stated that any game that is going to be released on PS4 post July 13th must be able to be played on PlayStation 5 as well.
Gotcha.
So that's cool. So any PS4 game released from pretty much the middle of July onward can be or it will be backwards compatible on PlayStation 5. So that's kind of cool. But as far as taking the PS5 games and making them playable on PS4, not going to happen. Let's see. Oh, so we're finally getting a PlayStation press conference, June 4th, 1 p.m. Pacific. From what I've gathered, it's only talking about games. I haven't. Hopefully, they'll give us a sneak peek at the console, maybe what's in it. But I think
there's a vacuum cleaner in it and a pizza oven.
I mean, maybe.
That's exactly what's it. You heard it here.
I hope I could, heat up my pizza.
Exactly.
While playing.
I do hope it looks really weird. Like the Xbox is a rectangular prism. I want some ridiculous like contraption for the PlayStation just to show a difference.
Like it would be totally awesome if it was like I don't know, like a complete circle and it was like
the Okama Game Sphere from South Park.
And it was super reflective so that like at like noon, 1 o'clock every day when the sun is shining through your window, like it blinds you at the right angle. Or
I would absolutely hate that.
It could be it could be something absolutely crazy, but what would be funny to me is if they look exactly the same.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a possibility. Now I don't think so because of the dev kits that we've seen are extremely they're created for a specific purpose in mind, which is a lot of cooling in weird places. So we'll definitely see.
It's like never mind, I was going to say something, but
yeah. So
no, so the Xbox dev kits, they don't look much different than the final product.
No, they're a big box. And most dev kits look like that. They just look like a big honking computer. They're honking because there's geese inside them. Another fact.
The GameCube dev kit looked like that. It was funny, man.
Yeah.
But let's see here. So this digital showcase. Oh, I put in some information about it. I was trying to do everything from memory. The digital showcase will run for a bit more than an hour. And for the first time, we will all be together virtually, experiencing the excitement together. A lack of physical events has given us an amazing opportunity to think differently and bring you on this journey with us, and hopefully closer than ever before. This is a part of our series of PS5 updates, and rest assured, after next week's showcase, we will still have much to share with you. So this, like I said, this sounds more like it's going to be just games, hopefully first party games. Um, I actually watched a video from Inside Gaming, and they were talking about how funny it would be if they just showed all the same games that Xbox showed at theirs. Like
Yeah.
exact same videos, like everything. It would be so funny.
I think they're putting that there too. That's almost subverting expectations, though. If you look at it, by the way, guys, we're going to show this stuff, but don't freak out on us like y'all did with the Xbox thing. Because the Xbox gameplay trailer, which we'll talk about here in just a bit when we get to the Xbox section, might have lifted up those expectations a little high.
They played loose with the term gameplay.
Yes, they did. They've commented too. I'll be talking about that in a bit. So I see that Sony's talking about backwards compatibility.
Yeah, but it's a little confusing. They stated over 4,000 games will be compatible at launch. But this is where I talked about any PS4 game or any PS4 game slated for a release post July 13th must be compatible with the PS5. So that's pretty awesome. They also stated that the top 100 PS4 games would be compatible. So, like I said, a little confusing.
That's weird.
Because it's 4,000. It's 4,000 games, but only the top 100 PS4 games. So,
does that mean compatible at launch?
See, that's what I'm thinking. It's either compatible at launch, or this might be some type of legal mumbo jumbo, just in case companies don't have their games backwards compatible at the time. Because apparently a lot goes into this, like new updates and all this kind of stuff. So, like, let's say Capcom gets behind on updating it and they don't have backwards compatibility. Hopefully, it's going to be more than 100 PS4 games. I don't think I have more than 100 PS4 games. That's a lot of games.
You sure?
But
that's how I feel with Switch games right now. I'm just looking at my case over there. I have so many Switch games.
But the funny thing is, like, they say 4,000 games. Like, dude, that's probably how much the PS3 library had. And not to mention how huge the PS2 library was.
Right.
Like, 4,000 games, man, that's a lot.
Well, there were... I saw some graphic that said the Xbox One had 2,600 games on the Xbox One itself, so that wouldn't surprise me that this gen would have that many, but only to say 100 games? Or just for sure saying the top 100 is a very weird statistic.
No, the top 100 PS4 games.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's just such a weird comment.
The 4,000 is going to go all the way back from PlayStation 1, 2, and 3.
All right.
From what I understand. But like I said, like 4,000 is probably the PS3 library by itself. So, like, it's going to be weird, like, which games they pick and choose, I guess. I mean, I could be overinflating this, and there could only be, 4,000 titles ever released.
Barbie's Sparkle Pony Adventure is going to be on there and stuff like that, right? That's a top 100 game.
Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Yeah. Oh, that's a real game too, isn't it?
Yup.
Oh, man, that's sad. All right, right. So I guess we are adding a new segment here to the PlayStation news of the month. We're going to be including the PS Plus and PS Now games.
So the PS Plus games for June, I couldn't find what's going to be released for PS Now in June, but the PlayStation Plus free games for June, this is kind of like your Xbox games with gold, are going to be Call of Duty World War II and Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Nice. Those are much better than what you get with games with gold.
Well, the PlayStation Plus free games, you used to get, I want to say it was like 6 games per month, because you would get 2 PS4 games, 2 PS3 games, and then 2 PlayStation Vita games. So if you had all the systems, like, it was awesome. And a lot of the PS3 games that they gave away were compatible with PS4. So that was pretty awesome. But after they scaled down on PS3 and the Vita kind of, disappeared, they stopped putting those in there. But the PS Now games for May that was put on there, PS Now is kind of like your Game Pass for PlayStation. They included Rainbow Six Siege, The Evil Within 2, and Get Even. Never even heard of Get Even. I even went through PS Now, and that game didn't even stick out to me. So, whatever. But Rainbow Six Siege and Evil Within 2, those are pretty huge games. I downloaded both of the Evil Withins for it. May stream those one day. We'll have to see.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it for the Sony news. You got anything else before we move on to the toaster?
Nah, man, that's going to be it for the PlayStation right now.
All right, guys. After the break, we will be back with Nintendo Switch news.
And break.
Break! All right.
Let me get it
Hey,
set up to record the next section.
By the way, I included a link to what I'm going to be reading through on the Wholesome Direct, because I did forget to throw in all my pre-typed stuff. So I found one that has a breakdown, and it's just basically copying and pasting what they said in the Direct itself.
You butt.
I know, I'm a terrible person. But yeah, if you want to click that link, it's the second one. Don't click the YouTube one, but yeah.
Okay.
I completely forgot to watch the Wholesome Direct. Actually, we ran out of time. So. Okay, so in this one, it's going to be Wholesome Direct, Xenoblade. I'm going to mention some stuff regarding... Actually, I need to open that link real quick, too. There's been some... Is it going to open? We'll find... There we go. There's been some issues with the... not really issues, but people complaining about the resolution of Xenoblade Chronicles. I'll see if I can pop it over there for you while my computer freaks out.
Yeah, I've seen some people griping about it, but I mean,
yeah,
it's the Nintendo Switch. Like, it's not a 1X.
You get what you get on the toaster,
Pro.
And you were happy with it.
I mean, it looks great, man. I mean, I don't understand. Like, some of the people that I've seen griping about it were like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and start recording.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I got to do the startup.
Okay.
And then there's Paper Mario news. Then there is the... oh, man, I didn't separate that out. What the heck did I do? All right, so I need to write in here financial reports. Financial.
I need to break my back.
Do it. Man, my back has been squirrely lately. Skylar put, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. That's what my kid's teacher taught him. I had an add-on that I can't say, too. But I don't tell students that.
Nice.
All right. Then Nintendo Switch Online news, what titles there were. There's some rumors where we can kind of guess which games would possibly be coming out from these companies, and then some Bloomberg news. So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about. I'm ready when you's ready.
All right.
And I'm going to try to navigate and make this Wholesome Direct stuff sound decent.
I was typing in the chat.
Yes, precisely. I can't. Get angry people coming after me.
Okay. All right. I am now recording. Let me pull up the notes. All right. You ready to clap?
Yes, sir.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
All right, guys, before we get started with the breaking news on everybody's favorite little gaming toaster that could, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at parallaxmedia.one. They're a good old school gaming journalism website that has decided to help spread our podcast around to the masses. So drop by and check these guys out. So, Rowdy,
Dude, you got it that time.
I got it.
Without messing it
I
up.
need to rewrite that one to where it's not so flubbable. All right. So we're going to talk about. There's a lot of Nintendo news right now, actually. And the first thing is the Wholesome Direct. So Nintendo decided to make a direct all about games that weren't so much about stomping the heads of Goombas and shooting things, but happy games. Games that warm your heart and make you feel the fuzzies. So, the Wholesome Direct showed about, let's see, there's about 50 developers and publishers around the world that joined forces to create the Direct itself. And we're going to pick out some of the games and talk about them, or just give kind of the breakthrough of what they said. So the first one is a game called Kind Words featuring a frog. Now, I am a little...
I hate it. I hate it already.
I'm a little confused by the company's name, though. It's by the company Pop Cannibal.
Okay. That's about what frogs do, man. They eat people.
Frogs are scary. But the first Wholesome game is brought to you by cannibals. Let's go. This one says... they started the show with a lot of people think wholesome games are just cute and colorful, said Josh Boykin, but there's so much more than that. Wholesome games let players express love and compassion. So they showed this Kind Words game. You write anonymous letters to other players for encouragement. Sounds like Animal Crossing to me. And guess what else you do?
What's that?
Nothing. That's it. You just write letters.
I hate this.
It is it's a game that has led to over 1 million letters written to let off steam or send support to someone who might need it. So I'm guessing this was on Steam already. It's all set to a chill lo-fi soundtrack.
Dude, as somebody who makes music and who does audio engineering, I am so sick of the terms chill lo-fi beats. It's so annoying. All it is people make regular music and they put a filter. Sorry. Calm down.
Rowdy, we're supposed to be wholesome.
Calm down.
Stop being angry and angsty.
I was gonna start cursing if I kept going.
So the thing that would drive me crazy about this is if you're doing this on the Switch, you don't have a keyboard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so by the end of it, I'd just be like, ugh, why? I'm having to write a paragraph or something. No, thank you. Now, it might be good if you're, for kids and you want to teach them how to write letters and stuff, but not like letters, like ABC, but letters to people. All right, next game.
That's why everybody in Animal Crossing just gets letters from me that say like poop or something like that.
Yeah, very eloquent letters. All right. Mondo Museum is the next game. It's by Kit Fox Games. If you've ever dreamed of running your own museum, Mondo Museum is the management sim for you. And some of you have already stopped reading this to add it to your wish list. Okay. No,
we haven't.
Yeah, I'm wondering if... So basically you build, add artifacts, hire staff, and a lot more. It's wholesome. Yeah, so you run a museum. Actually, my wife might find that interesting. Once again, it's part of Animal Crossing.
I was fixing to say, I already have a Mondo Museum in Animal Crossing.
Dude, our museum's looking boss. I couldn't think of a good word. Bonkers, awesome, spiffy. Spiffy, we're using spiffy.
I have gotten a lot of fish, a lot of bugs. I have gotten all of the fossils, every single one of them. But you know what I don't have a lot of? Art.
That is true. There is an issue with the shady dude coming to town, Red, that people are complaining about. I was hoping he'd come by more often. I'm ready for some more art.
I made a special beach for him, or not necessarily made the beach, but like made this awesome like walkway to get to said beach. Mm-hmm. He never shows up. He doesn't appreciate it.
All right. So next game, Little Witch in the Woods. So it's a life sim where you're a witch. Their website says make potions, study magical creatures, and help the local townspeople in Ellie's journey to become a full-fledged witch. That one looks interesting. It's pixelated, so it's 16-bit design. I'll have to take a look at that. Next one is Book of Travels. It's an online role-playing game set in a fairy tale world. And it says it's going to take the players off the rails. There's not much to it that I can find other than that. So, yeah.
This is an online RPG?
It's an online RPG. So,
okay.
Yeah. I don't know much more about it than that. It looks interesting. It looks like it's done with a watercolor stylization. Next one is Kiwi. You take control of Jeff and Deborah, who are people that work at the post office. And they're not regular people that work at the post office. No. That would be too simple. They're Kiwi birds.
You know, those extinct things?
Wait, kiwis aren't extinct, are they? I think dodos.
Oh.
Yeah. I could be wrong.
Kiwis can't fly.
I need somebody in the chat to look that up for me. All right. So basically you're running around. It's a cooperative puzzle game, and you run around with your little kiwi beak and your derpy little body, and you try to move levers and stuff like that and push buttons. That actually sounds kind of fun. I mean, I've worked for the post office. It's not too far from the real thing. So yeah. Should be interesting.
Nice.
So those are some of the highlights that I'm finding on here. There's a lot more games than that. If you get a chance, check out the Wholesome Direct. We might have to try to do a side quest on it. I'm going to go watch it and see if it's worth doing a side quest for y'all. Honestly, Probably not. All right, next up, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Hey, this game released. Also, if you don't know, the Definitive Edition is a remake that has upgraded graphics and from the original Xenoblade Chronicles, but they've added basically an add-on to the game. It has 10 to 12 hours of extra gameplay where it focuses on Melia and 2 different Nopon characters. That you can play.
I love the Nopons so much.
Hit or miss. Now, I will say I've been playing it. I've already it came out yesterday. I got the special edition, which if you're on the Twitch stream, you can see me knock my camera in and get the book and stuff. But nerd. All right. Anyway, it's been good. It pulled me in a little bit longer than I expected. I think I played 5 hours yesterday.
Yeah, as of this morning, I've got about 5 hours into it.
Yeah. Now, I will say I am noticing some things that it's definitely an older game that they've kind of added pretty graphics into. And one thing that I was whenever you're in Gar playing, did you notice there's like a force field of grass around you?
I stopped right outside of Gar playing. I haven't gone into it yet.
So the draw distance for the enemies and stuff is far better in this game than it was with the previous one. So you can see enemies far off, but the grass kind of disappears, like the 3D flowing grass. It's a little weird, but the game looks good. It's fun to play. However, there's been a fiasco. Some problems people are concerned about. It doesn't run in 4K 60 frames per second. Well, duh, it's a Nintendo system. But it doesn't even run in 1080p. It runs in docked at 720p, or it could drop down in scenes that are more complicated or vast to 504, which I complained about that kind of resolution in the Yoshi games. Now, granted...
504 or 540?
504.
That's weird.
That's a weird number. Now, this is dock. This is running inside your toaster, right? Inside the dock. So, now that's only going to be on extreme circumstances, whereas the Yoshi game ran like that a lot. But the handheld gets even scarier. It tops out at 540p and lowers down to 378, which honestly on a dock screen is not that big of a concern. There are some filters that go on to make it look a little bit better, but the game still looks decent to me. But it definitely is, man, that draw distance for the grass was killing me. All right. Next
Oh,
up.
hey.
Hey.
So, you remember when? So, oh my God. Okay, so I had the two limited edition Switch Pro controllers. I
Mm-hmm.
had the Splatoon one and the Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
awesome ones. So my Splatoon, blah, 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 my Splatoon 2 one quit working. I was really mad about it. So yesterday, I was charging up my Xenoblade Chronicles 2 controller so that I could use it to play Xenoblade Chronicles, and it doesn't turn on.
What? That stinks. So both of your specialty controllers are now just like gonna sit on the shelf forever?
Well, I was really mad, and I was about to start throwing stuff because that was
Yeah.
the second Pro controller I've had that crapped out. So, I mean, I'm hitting the button. There's no lights coming on. It's not working. So, down, and I went and I grabbed the Splatoon one because I didn't throw it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked it up, and I was like, is something the matter with these? So, like, I picked both of them up. I'm hitting the home buttons. Still nothing. So I plugged in the Splatoon 2 one. All of a sudden, it's got lights on it.
Magic.
It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked in months. All of a sudden, it's got lights on it.
It's because you
So
hit it.
then
You
I so out of nowhere, I hit the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 one. It starts working. So
That's crazy.
I don't know what the deal is,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes Switch Pro controllers just don't want to work.
That's
At
bonkers.
all.
So I was gonna say I was about to like go into troubleshooting mode because you can replace the battery packs on those.
I'm
But
not taking it apart.
oh, dude, it's really easy. I promise you. It's not like the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons that we replaced and cussed a lot.
Man, that was awful.
The Switch controller, it's just like all it is two screws and one in each handle. You pop it off, and then you can pop off the shell. Super easy. All right. Next one, Paper Mario the Origami King was a surprise announcement this month. Now, we did talk about this pretty much in depth in our last episode, so you can check that out if you want a more in-depth view of it. But I do have an update. The battle system.
Uh-oh.
This is a good update. There's an 18-second clip that has been folded up into a papered airplane and is now gliding across the internet. And we were initially concerned about consumables being used to paper cut our hearts in this next Mario game. But that is not going to happen. So, in the last Mario game, in Color Splash, right? You had to use cards. You had to buy cards, and you couldn't fight unless you spent your money. And we were very concerned, pointed out by a listener, that they're showing thousands of coins in this game, which made us think, okay, it's going to be consumable based. However, this video shows us now there is a ring that you fight on with multiple rings within said ring, and the enemies stand on each level on this wheel. Okay, so it's like 4 wheels in the center.
Yo, we heard you like battle systems with wheels, so we put wheels inside the wheels.
Exactly. So it shows in the video that Mario has 20 seconds to line up some little angry origami Goombas, and he twists the paper rings on the second row to line it up with the others. So when this happens, it shows that Mario has only one ring move available. So you get a limited amount of moves to twist these rings and line up the enemies the best you can. After that, the game's like, that's a great lineup, and it says it in quotations, and that gives Mario an attack bonus of 1.5. Now, we see that Mario then has the options of using boots or a hammer, with Toads yelling in the background on yellow bleachers to show us a jump and use your fire flower. So that gives us an idea of what things we could see. Of course, there's going to be fire flower in this game, right? Then he selects the row of enemies and then his boots. And then he happily stomps in the origami brains of the Goombas in a row, showing excellent each time that their brains splatter out of their Goomba heads. I mean, it's not that gratuitous, but it's close enough.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, That means whenever you see excellent as they're hopping across, that probably means that you're having to press A in a timed fashion to either continue down the line or to get bonuses on damage. So yeah.
Yeah, so in the first two Paper Marios, you did have to hit them at certain times to keep going with some of the special moves. I know for Thousand Year Door, the one on GameCube, Mario had a move where he could jump on multiple characters in a row, and if you didn't hit it at the right time, it would be kind of like he tripped or something, and he doesn't finish hitting everybody. So that actually makes me feel a lot better about this game because they did the card system in, was it Color Splash? Also, they did it in Sticker Star, the 3DS version of Paper Mario, and that was the one that I played the least. I think I picked that game up and played it maybe an hour and was like, I hate it. I hate it so much.
This is the worst.
It really was, man.
All right, moving on to the big financial report in early May that Nintendo released. So every year, now this is according to their fiscal year, and if you have heard what a fiscal year is, it basically starts and ends in May. I'm sorry, May? March? I'm wrong. Okay. And then they did this call in May to talk about all the stuffs. Well, big one that they talked about was Animal Crossing sold 13.41 million units already. Now it's more.
That's a lot of units.
That's a lot of units. Now there's a graphic that they showed that compares it to the 3DS versions, which were big sellers, and it is quite a few times more than the first 6-week totals, but it's beat the lifetime totals of those other games. So Animal Crossing is selling like crazy. Next up, Pokemon Sword and Shield sold 17.37 million copies so far. And it's actually only 300,000 copies away from beating the best-selling Pokemon games, Diamond and Pearl. I didn't realize those were the best sellers.
So I also want to point out, though, that I hate that they include both Pokemon games as one unit.
That is true.
Ugh.
You know, everybody bought Sword.
Well, yeah, it's 17.37 million, but that includes Sword and Shield, not Sword or Shield.
I mean, it's technically the same game. It's just like the stuff is swapped.
Yeah, but do you know how many people out there buy both copies just so they could get everything in them?
That is true. People with no friends. Oh. Or people that really like Pokemon. All right, next up. More news. Zelda and Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey sold a respectable 17.41 million units since the games have been released. They're tied now. Fancy.
Okay.
Yeah. The Nintendo Switch has 27 games that have sold at least 1 million copies. That includes third-party sales. So not only is first-party Nintendo selling, which, you know, was the thing during the Wii era and the Wii U era, that people only bought Nintendo games on these systems. That's not the case anymore. Total sales of the system now have come to a whopping 55.77 million units, with 3.29 million of those just from the first quarter of this year. So that was from January to March. This thing is selling like crazy. Now, they had originally forecast that the system would only sell 19.5 million units last fiscal year. But instead they sold 21 million. So they're actually beating expectations. And Nintendo is known for telling these investors, hey, we're only going to do this much. But generally they try to beat what they tell their investors.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do.
That's what you're supposed to do. But the other companies don't do that. You know, what you do is you tell them that you're going to sell lots and lots of consoles and lots of things. And then the investors come in and give you money. That's how it works nowadays. Sorry, I had to break in the old radio announcer voice. All right. Yeah, see? Now, Nintendo is saying, according to the... because there's a Q&A section where the investors get to ask questions like, how will you... money? Yeah, that's mostly the questions that they get. But Nintendo will be targeting non-gamers during their midlife crisis. I mean, the middle of its life cycle. Sorry, got that mixed up. So we are entering the middle of Nintendo's life cycle. It's going to go out and buy a Corvette, and stuff like that, right? So, expect that to happen, to see hearkening back to what we saw, I think, to the Wii days. So yeah, that's pretty much the big stuff from that report. So we're about to move on. Do you have anything you wanted to comment or say before I moved on to the Nintendo Switch Online news?
Nope.
All right, let's talk about Nintendo Switch Online. All right, so one thing before we get started with the Nintendo Switch Online titles of May. Members in Japan are able to play Celeste for free between 5/18 and 5/24. This makes me wonder, are we going to start seeing something similar for the Nintendo Switch Online store, to where in the US, do we get to maybe see some indie games for free as a way to compete with Game Pass and PS Now? Hopefully. But that's something to just kind of keep in mind, that Nintendo Switch is starting to do some not really weird things, but try out some new stuff in other countries.
Have you seen where, God, this was quite some time ago. Well, I say quite some time ago, but in Japan, you were able to stream Resident Evil 7 to your Switch.
I did see that.
And I don't know how that would actually work, but people were not ecstatic about it. So you don't really they haven't really talked much about streaming that kind of stuff since then. So we'll see.
All right. Yeah, I'm curious to see if we'll see more of that towards the end of its life cycle. And because I mean, you're gonna see that with Game Pass, where they start using that streaming service on the Xbox Series X and the Xbox One. We all know that Stadia tries to do it too. Man, that sounded rough. It tries to.
Man, I actually let's bring it to Stadia for a second. I want to say something positive about Stadia. Well, okay, maybe somebody not Stadia, but the Stadia fans, like, I was actually looking up stuff on Stadia, and it turns out that they have, I mean, I guess, a bigger fan base than I thought. And people that are Stadia fans, dude, they are die hard. I went on Twitter and was looking at comments of people, like, firing back at people talking trash on Stadia. Dude, these Stadia fans are hardcore. Like, I never realized it, but
I don't doubt it. Yeah, I mean, if you like it and if it fits your lifestyle, go ahead and do it. And I think we're going to see more of that coming in the future, but I don't think. Well, we'll go into it a little bit, because I think they overpromised. I don't want to distract too much from what I'm talking about with Nintendo, because I am going to bring up Stadia just a little tiny bit in the Xbox section. All right. Nintendo Switch Online titles of May. For the NES, you get to play Rygar. If you have never played Rygar, it's a game that was created by Tecmo in 1986, and it actually released for arcades in Japan as a game called Warrior of Argus. It's a side-scrolling platform game where the player assumes the role as the legendary warrior, battling through a hostile landscape.
Dude, Rygar. I freaking love Rygar. Like,
I don't think I played it.
That was one of the first games where I was like, dude, video game soundtracks are legit.
That's awesome.
Awesome. I loved it, man.
All right, next up, there are 3 Super Nintendo games that were released this month. Operation Logic Bomb. It's the ultimate search and destroy. It's known in Japan as Akira no Yosai. It is a 1993 overhead action video game developed by Jellicoe. So, it was released in the U.S. in 93 also. I don't know a whole lot about it. So, cool. Next up, one that is interesting, though, Panel de Pawn. Panel de Pawn is better known as Tetris Attack in the U.S.
Okay.
So it's a 1995 puzzle video game developed by Intelligent Systems and published by Nintendo for the Super NES. There was a Game Boy version released later. However, in America, Tetris allowed its name to be used. This was the co-founder of Tetris, Hank Rogers' choice, but they regretted it much later because it didn't really match with Tetris at all. Have you ever played Tetris Attack?
I have not.
Yeah, it's nothing like Tetris. So, paneled upon, if you're a big puzzle game fan, go for it. I didn't know about this until I looked it up the other day. So, I'm actually kind of excited about it. Next up, Wild Guns is a 94 space western shooting gallery video game developed by Natsume. It's set in the Wild West with steampunk and sci-fi influences. The story follows Annie and her bounty hunter Clint seeking revenge for the death of her family.
Dude, Wild Guns is awesome. But
Is it wild?
yes, it is pretty
Are
wild.
there guns?
But turns out there are quite a few guns.
Okay, good to know. It doesn't lie.
Turns out if you play Wild Guns and you really like it, you should play the updated HD version that is on Switch.
Ooh.
It's really fun, man.
All right. So next up, we have rumors. Nintendo actually has some rumors going around. First up, there is, and we've reported this already, but we're going to go ahead and mention it real quick because it is the news roundup. No Nintendo Direct is planned for June. This is according to VentureBeat and Eurogamer. Now, it's supposedly, now this is a rumor. It has not officially been confirmed by Nintendo. According to these two sources, due to the gobbles and work-at-home orders causing problems for the company, that Nintendo just couldn't get it together. Now, I personally still think we might have some surprises in store, because we just had that random drop for Paper Mario the other day. There's still rumors flying around that we're going to have the Mario 35th anniversary. So it might not be a direct. It might just be like, hey guys, this game is happening. Prepare your consoles. So yeah.
Now,
and that's something you really have to do nowadays, especially with the Switch. If you're going to get a game, even on a cartridge, you still got to download updates and stuff for it. So whenever I say prepare your consoles, go delete some stuff that you haven't played in 2 years. Yeah. All right. Next up, there is a rumor. Multiple unknown third-party Switch titles are showing up on Amazon in France. Now, this comes from the Twitter account Nintendo Alerts. It's like it's got a apostrophe in there, by the way, Rowdy. And this was translated on a Reset Era message board. This has been like the thing lately. Reset Era has all the stuff. So there are 3 games coming from Bethesda. 1 is going to be Switch only. 2 games from Square, both Switch only games. 2 games from Warner, 1 Switch out of that group. A game from Take-Two, a game from Capcom that is only going to be for the Switch. A game from Konami that is, did I say it right?
Yes.
Konami. All right. That is going to be on PC and Switch. That's a weird combo. And then a game from Koch Media, which is going to be on the Switch and Xbox One. So now E3 has been canceled, right? Are we going to see these games shown to us during special, like, I don't know, mini Gobbles edition of E3? Or, what do you think these could be, Rowdy? Do you have any guesses?
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that we shouldn't look into these rumors until they show up on Walmart Canada's website.
The official rumor website, right?
The official rumor website is Walmart Canada.
Has anybody looked? Has anybody checked Walmart Canada?
Dude, they always drop them too quick. But no, man. I bet that a lot of these are ports.
Yeah. Well, there are some Switch only ones, but I guess it could be a port.
Well, yeah, because 2K just released pretty much their whole catalog on Switch in one day. Like, what was it? Borderlands Collection, BioShock Collection, XCOM 2. There was one other one.
We mentioned it in the multi-platform section in game release sections later. Yeah.
So with what is it with Bethesda? They're saying one Switch only. That could be a port. 2 games for Square that are Switch only. I mean, possibly a port or remake, just because their Square RPGs are releasing like crazy on Switch and selling really well too. You see a couple of Final Fantasy games all the time in the top 20 downloads on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Warner. What do they put out? They put out the Mortal Kombat and the DC games. They also put out, what was it, the Shadow of Mordor games. So maybe this might be like the Batman Arkham collection. Let's see, Take Two. Oh, that's like part of EA. So they did like Borderlands. No, that was 2K. Never mind.
Weren't they originally involved with the like OG Grand Theft Auto games? Maybe? I don't know. I could be wrong.
No, Rockstar's owned by 2K, not Take-Two.
Oh, okay.
So let's see here. Capcom is a Switch-only game. Who knows what that could be?
No telling.
A Konami
Monster Hunter
game
World. Come on, do it. Sorry.
A Konami game for PC and Switch. Probably a port, just because it's going to both of them.
Mm-hmm. Or it could be a game that's on Steam already that they're going to bring to Switch. Or at least in the upcoming soon, like, greenlit games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Koch Media, I have no idea what they put out.
I don't either. All right.
So, who knows?
So, their games. Nintendo's going to release game, guys. That's the rumor. Come on.
I do like games.
I like games. French rumors for you guys. All right. Next up, our final rumor. This is from Bloomberg with the source called People Familiar with Its Operations. Yes.
Okay.
So Nintendo is struggling to procure some essential components for the Switch due to government-imposed lockdowns in Malaysia and the Philippines, which could be the reason for the limited production this year. This is, of course, according to people familiar with its operations. You know, probably somebody on a message board or 4chan, right? That they'd happen to know. Always. Yeah. So Malaysia, just so you know, is Nintendo's source for printed circuit board, also known as PCBs. And then the Philippines provide passive components that attach to said printed circuit boards. Now, Malaysia has relaxed its gobbles lockdown on May 4th, so we'll see if that affects anything. And Nintendo's president Shuntaro Furukawa said during the earnings call, which we just talked about before the rumors section, they did say that to expect the gobbles' impact on our production to go away by the summer. So Nintendo is not that affected, they believe.
I feel sorry for anybody who skipped the beginning of this podcast and doesn't understand what we talk about.
Yeah.
Gobble.
If you don't know, listen to like the first, I don't know, minute of the podcast and you'll know what we're talking about. The gobbles is our keyword for things we're not allowed to say because Google will absolutely, I mean, they already don't show us that much, but other platforms will make it to where we're not seen as much. So there's a lot of, yeah.
When the Game Grumps talk about it, they call it the Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
Yeah, so we are making reference to our Streets of Rage gameplay video where we talked about eating dumpster turkeys, and they give you the gobbles. So, all right, that is it for the Nintendo news. Rowdy, did you have anything else you wanted to add, sir?
No.
Okay. All right, guys, next up, we're going to have the Xbox One Series, whatever the heck they're calling it today, news. Gobble. Uh-oh.
All right. What's up?
My thing is just showing. Okay, there it goes. It was just updating really slow. All right.
I was fixing to say, if you didn't record...
No. It's all recording. It's all recording. It was just stuck on red, and it scared me. I kind of want to pause it and save real quick. So...
yeah, you can do that if you want.
Yeah, let me do that before my... Well, I want to... Okay, I hit... I got to hit stop. That always scares me whenever I hit stop. Come on. Oh, it's down there. Okay, it's on that screen. Okay, this is here we go. 3 seconds remaining. All right. Let me full screen this and click on the edge. Oh my gosh, if you were watching the stream, you just saw all sorts of craziness fly across the screen. All right, let's hit the record button and see what happens. Okay. I think it's in the right place. We'll see.
All right.
I might have
ready?
Yeah, I think I'm having a heart attack over here. Just it scares me. Okay, real quick rundown on the Xbox news. I'm gonna complain about the gameplay event. Aaron Greenberg has made an announcement after that. I'm gonna go into the Xbox Series X update as far as what it will do with backwards compatibility because they just released a new thing. Just mention that not all games are going to run at 60 frames per second on the Series X. Xbox One X supply chain is supposedly good. There's a class action lawsuit on Xbox Elite controllers, some Minecraft dungeon stuff, and then there's some rumors, of course, from Reset Era about Malaysia and China.
All right, and done. That was a good.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you need to know. If you're watching the stream, you're done already. All right. Let's instead talk about this for 30 minutes.
All right.
All right. Yeah, let's clap.
All right, do the clap in 1, 2, 3.
All right, before we get started diving into the Xbox Series One XS or whatever the heck they're naming it now, news of the month. We've been streaming lately. Check it out over at twitch.tv/LamerGamersPodcast and see the recordings over at the Lamer Gamers Podcast YouTube. And also, we are starting to do live podcast recordings on the Twitch. And some of y'all are watching right now. Thank you for commenting and stuff in the stream. In fact, we had a comment from Budget Era podcast earlier that said Xbox more than symbol PS5. They're
greater
throwing
than.
down, yeah, that thing. Greater than. Whoops. All right, now let's get to the news. So the first thing, hey, there was an Xbox gameplay event. I did a podcast on it trying to figure out where the gameplay was. I found a little.
Yeah, there was some in there.
There was some. Now you can go back and listen to that podcast, but Microsoft has gotten just a little bit of criticism, meaning the entire internet has tried to set their house on fire, figuratively.
Pretty much.
Yeah, figuratively. Okay, so Aaron Greenberg, who is the general manager at Microsoft Studios, has responded to the criticism of the Inside Xbox gameplay event. You know, that one where they said there was going to be gameplay. He said, this was on Twitter, had we not said anything and just shown the May Inside Xbox show like we did last month, I suspect reactions might have been differently. Clearly we set, I know, right? Clearly we set some wrong expectations, and that's on us. We appreciate all the feedback and can assure you we will take it all in and learn as a team. Praying hands emoji, green heart. Well, duh, Microsoft, of course you... Okay, so, sorry, they pulled a Stadia and said... I got a little angry. A little bit. They said that they were going to provide gameplay. And what did they provide?
I mean, a little bit of gameplay.
Bullshot. Bullshot means... things that are made to look like gameplay in the perfect environment. Not to be confused with the other word that sounds like something else that I'm not going to say right now, but it's close enough. So, you know, they brought in an unfulfilled hype. And that's exactly what happened with the Stadia. And like we were just talking about earlier, that's why I'm so frustrated with that platform, is whenever you promise the world and you don't give anything. You give us, I don't know. I was going to say a country, but I feel like we're going to insult somebody. All right. Now, here's the thing. Eventually people are going to forget this, right? No, that's not how the consoles war works. You shall feel this mistake forever, Microsoft. Wear it like a scar. All right, you will feel its pain occasionally because people don't
So
forgive.
my problem with them or with anybody saying
Mhm.
gameplay footage. So you release gameplay footage, but then in fine letters it says, what is it? Game in beta may not be representative of the final product. No, that is not gameplay. That is a freaking demo.
Now, I will say they did put at the bottom that they were representing in-game footage or engine footage or what it's supposed to look like, but we know that's not always the case. However, the games that they showed were mostly indies. There weren't like any major titles with the exception of like Valhalla that was shown. All right, so enough complaining about that. One thing though that I do want to mention is there's been a lot of talk about how the Xbox Series X is going to force developers to run games at 60 frames per second. That is not true. That is not the bottom line. In fact, we are seeing that Assassin's Creed Valhalla, they are currently targeting 30 frames per second. But there are some rumors right now that they are trying to raid that 60 frames per second bounty by launch. We shall see.
There is no reason these games shouldn't be 60 frames per second with the hardware they're putting in these consoles. I'm sorry. It's just I mean, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One X have 60 frames per second for a lot of the stuff. Why can't these new consoles with so much more power hit 60 frames per second?
Well, I'm looking, I've been playing the Assassin's Creed Odyssey on the Xbox One X, and it runs at 30 frames per second. It looks fantastic. I could imagine maybe with more graphical fidelity, it might still run at 30 frames per second, but I'm agreeing with you. I would rather see a baseline at 60 and go from there than 30. But a lot of people try to, well, technically 24 frames per second is cinematic. That's the way you get around it.
And that's fine, but I mean, you can't sit here and talk about all this power. This is going to be the most powerful console ever, and then not deliver 60 frames per second in a game like Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
And that 30 frames per second thing has really been minor. Not a lot of people are talking about it. I like how Skylar in the Twitch stream right now says, you promise the world and deliver a t-shirt. And that's how some people are feeling because of this gameplay demo, quote unquote gameplay, and what we're seeing with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So now that we've gotten the complaining out of the way, I got some good news at least. Now, this is not too different from what we've reported on before. Okay, the Xbox Series X, they just released on news.xbox.com, which is like their official news publication group, that they are reinforcing the backwards compatibility for all Xbox games. It's Xbox 360 and One. Now, they said huh?
You mean original Xbox?
OG Xbox. Yeah. All right.
Not Xbox One.
Whatever, Rowdy. Ah! No, we'll have Xbox One games too.
Well, no. But you call the original Xbox the Xbox One.
Dadgummit.
When it's just
who's on Xbox first? What's on second? I don't know. Who's
then
on
Xbox
third,
360,
right?
Then Xbox One.
Can't they? So at some point, I'm going to have to do a rant on the naming of Xbox systems because it's just like they steal names from other companies. The Xbox One stuff comes from the HTC One line. Anyway, I got to stop because I will just segue, and this is news. I'm trying to be impartial here, Rowdy.
They hired the person
lots of
who names Capcom games.
Yes, that is true. All 100% confirmed truth. It's a lie. All right. Now, they are saying more games will be compatible with the Xbox Series X than the Xbox One right off the bat. They have spent 100,000 hours of playtesting already.
That's a lot of hours.
That's a lot of hours. In fact, thousands of games are going to be playable on the Xbox Series X at this moment. Not us playing it. We can't get it, of course. But it's going to include the biggest blockbusters to cult classics to fan favorites. Now, by the time it releases, they'll have spent over 200,000 hours making sure your game library is ready for you to jump into it immediately.
Man, that's double a lot of hours.
That's a lot. Yeah. They also kind of take a dig at Sony by saying backwards compatible games run natively on the Xbox Series X hardware, running with the full power of the CPU, GPU, and the SSD. Here's where they take the dig. No boost mode. No downclocking. The full power of the Xbox Series X for each and every backwards compatible games.
Well, I mean,
you can already see where Xbox is going to go with this next generation.
I mean, that they'll never beat the dig that Sony took at them when the Xbox One was about to release. Because I don't know if you remember this, Travis, but originally the Xbox One could not play used games.
Oh, I remember that. That was back in the DRM days.
So when
digital rights management,
Sony released a video showing how to share PlayStation 4 games, and it was just oh my god, what's it? Shuhei Yoshida, and I want to say, nope, I don't think it was him, but it was basically two guys from Sony. They're like, here, play this, and then he like hands him the copy of the game, and then they both look at the camera and smile. That was the best dig ever. Nobody will ever beat that one.
That was so just, those were the days. And back whenever they talked about the Xbox One, it was like TV, TV, TV.
Oh my god.
Then everybody stopped watching TV.
I'm so glad they've come so far since then.
They have, and it's a cyclical thing with these companies. Either you start listening to your fans or you die in a pit of despair.
No, man, it was Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer turned it all around.
Hopefully he'll continue it. All right, here's what they're saying. Now, games will run better on the Xbox Series X by creating higher and more steady frame rates, and they're going to render at the maximum resolution and quality. That can mean up to 4K.
That means they're going to polish turds.
Absolutely. Games will also see significant reductions in load times thanks to the solid-state drive. They're going to use...
they better.
Yeah, right? I mean, if I'm paying for this expensive drive... Now, they're also going to use a new HDR reconstruction technique. This is what I'm excited about. Just me, though, right? It's automatically going to add HDR to support games without impacting the game's overall performance. This applies to the OG Xbox, the original, the first one, and Xbox One and Xbox 360. That includes titles that were developed almost 20 years ago before HDR was even thought of.
Dude,
yeah.
I didn't think I was going to be that big a proponent for HDR, but as a lot of you know, my Xbox, I just got the Xbox One S all digital because I literally just got it for Game Pass so that I could play the first-party games. And just the HDR on that, not the 4K, it's still awesome looking.
Oh, HDR is fantastic. It brings a whole nother level to the world. And I'm like looking at Xenoblade Definitive Edition right now, and I'm seeing all these lasers and explosions. I'm just thinking, oh, it needs to be a little brighter. Come on, HDR. Anyway. All right. Also, it's going to have quick resume is going to be available not just for the Xbox Series X games. It's going to be available for all. So quick resume is basically like save states on like a ROM emulator or something, to where the game will start up automatically where it had happened before. So if you are playing a game and there is nowhere to save, instead of just like having to shut off the console or keep it paused for 2 days until you get back to it, you can just go back to the home screen and it'll save exactly where you're at. So that's a big thing.
Well, can't you do that right now, but just for one game?
For one game. This is going to be for all games.
Okay.
And you can keep multiple save states, essentially. And that doesn't always work even for one game. I can't tell you how many times I've had games crash on the One X after you do that 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
So on my one, like, I've never really understood how that worked, because like if I go back to the home menu and then turn off my Xbox, when I start it back up, I can pick back up in the game, But if I just turn it off while in game, it never starts back up that way. Or was it vice versa? I don't remember. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't for me.
And
it's probably the way that I turn everything off.
And that's the problem. Is it's not consistent. And hopefully they will get this right by then, and that's part of the hundreds of thousands of hours testing. Now, they are going to be using some new tech that's actually been used in the Xbox One X that they're using to, because you can actually go through and look for games enhanced on the One X. And they're using things such as the Huichi method, hopefully I'm saying that right, which enables them to be rendered at 4K, or applying anisotropic filtering, which is basically improves the final quality of the game. Also, they're going to be able to double frame rates of some titles. So if you have a game that runs at 30 frames per second, it could go up to 60. Or
again, if they're just with the frame rates, if they could double the 30s, why can't? Never mind.
Well, I mean, old games, right? I'm talking about old games. Or if your TV is compatible, 60 frames per second up to 120 frames per second. So that is going to be a big thing coming up. I think we're going to see also the Series X is going to be, from what I understand, FreeSync compatible, which is a variable frame rate refreshing. So if your TV supports that, that's going to be good too. So that is the update on the backwards compatibility. We'll see how it works whenever it releases though. But expect to on day one to be able to play all your old games in what I like to call the rose-colored glasses model or edition, because the game should supposedly look better, run better,
Dude,
and be fancier with HDR.
Here a while back, me and some friends hooked up an OG Xbox and played Fusion Frenzy, which was basically a Mario Party for Xbox. And it was not good. It was awesome back in the day. It is not good now.
Yeah, that happens. Rose-colored glasses.
I think Fusion Frenzy might be on Game Pass now.
I think so. I think that was on Games with Gold, and I downloaded it, but I didn't play it.
It's rough.
I bet it is. Some of those old games, man, it's amazing what you forgive in the past.
Dude, I went back and I was playing some PlayStation 2 classics, like on PlayStation Now, and it was rough. Rough.
Now, I have been, Dino from Regen is possibly wanting to talk about old PS1 games with us one day, which I'll be completely useless for, but I'll see what I can find.
I actually might be fairly useless as well because I didn't really become a Sony fanboy until PlayStation 2.
Oh, well. We'll have to figure that one out. All right, next up, Xbox is facing a class action lawsuit over drifting Xbox Elite controllers. Now, the lawsuit was filed by someone named Donald McFadden, and it alleges that customers are experiencing problems after the 90-day warranty and having to repair what they believe is a known fault. Because I see the Xbox One Reddit, people complain about those all the time. And if you're paying $179 for a controller, that thing better work. Right?
Yeah. I mean,
90-day warranty is not enough.
Have you messed with one of those controllers?
I have not. They look fantastic. I want to press buttons.
Oh my god, dude. Like
triggers and things.
You could change out the joysticks. You could change the sensitivity on the joysticks. Like, dude, it is ridiculous how much you could do with those controllers. And I don't know, smash some pottery. I don't know. I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Origins.
Sounds like Zelda too.
Smashing like pottery from these pharaohs.
As somebody who does ceramics and has a wife that is also a ceramicist, just ain't right.
Is that a word?
Don't smash pottery. Yes, it's a word. Don't smash pottery, kids.
Well, if I had an Xbox Elite controller that stopped working after 90 days, there would be smash pottery.
I'm gonna smash this random thing. All right, there. It was an empty Lysol wipes thing. Okay, I smashed it. All right. Also, there has been a similar class action lawsuit filed against Nintendo last year that actually went to arbitration, and Nintendo made a lot of changes on how they dealt with Tokyo Drift. I mean, just drifting controllers. So,
Hey, so real quick, did they go into did they go in depth with what's causing the drift? Like, is it like what is it like the
no,
plastic or something wearing down or something like that?
they're just
Because
saying that
pretty much
Microsoft knows about it.
any controller I've ever had in the history of ever that got tons of use basically started getting drift or the joysticks got weird due to everything being grinded down because I've played it so much and having to clean out all the controller dust.
Yeah.
And then it works fine.
Now,
But
you
it
remember
sounds like it.
Nintendo
The Nintendo
64. I love that we both went there. Mario Party, man. Spinning the joystick around with your palm. That was the original. That wasn't drift, though. That was, it just don't work.
The Nintendo 64 was the only system ever that I found an acceptable third-party controller, and that's because the stem on the joystick was metal.
Dude, that's the way to go. All right.
And I was able to beat everybody at Mario Party because of it.
My secret weapon. All right. Next up, our last news piece before we hit the rumors. Minecraft Dungeons released recently, and this I'm putting in the Xbox section, but it also goes for people. This also is going to have some PC news, but there was a major bug on Windows at launch. If you installed Minecraft Dungeons in a custom directory, so basically if you picked where you wanted it to save, then you uninstalled the game, it would kind of accidentally maybe wipe the entire freaking folder, including all the, I don't know, emails from grandma and pictures of puppies that you had in there. Yeah.
It turns out somebody installed it to the actual C drive.
Yeah, and it wiped the C drive. And now, luckily, that person's like, it wiped my entire gaming SSD drive. So that means Windows wasn't on it.
Oh my God, real quick. I have an update on my, wait, well, I guess it's not really an update because I haven't really talked about it. So I have two computers. I have my Mac that's for recording, streaming, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a PC laptop that I always talk about running through an external GPU and all this stuff. And it's been acting funny.
Uh-oh.
So I opened it up the other day and the screen was acting real weird. Like it's a touch screen, but the screen was flickering. So it's like, why is this flickering? It kind of happened a little bit for a while. Now I can't even use it in laptop mode. It has to go through the eGPU and then to a monitor. So I started looking into it. The battery bulged on it.
Oh,
And
no.
that's why the screen was messing up, because when you go to close the laptop and the battery bulged, it dug into the screen.
Did you change the battery out yet?
No. It's too late.
No, you need to do that because that is actually dangerous. It can explode.
Yes.
Don't use that laptop until you do that. It's bad. That's actually something I've seen like as a concern with some of the smaller the smaller that computers get, the more likely to notice battery bulge, but it also can put more pressure. So, Rowdy is possibly going to explode during this podcast, so
yes,
watch out for that. Okay, so back to this bug. Now, they have fixed this problem. So, if make sure that you're using at least the Bootstrap version 166. You can check this in Minecraft Dungeons by going to Settings, then About, then Bootstrap. Okay, to get that, all you have to do is restart the launcher and it should give you the new version. Okay, now, that's not the only popular, or I guess, interesting bug in Minecraft Dungeons. There is a bug that's more of a feature than anything. You can actually do cross-play between the PC and the Xbox One, which is kind of funny. They're eventually, I think, going to have crossplay for all systems, which makes me really happy because I don't have to go buy it for the Switch now to play with my Switch peeps. But if let's see, you can actually do crossplay by following these steps. And by the way, I guess this kind of sounds like an ad you would see on a news website or like your great aunt posts on Facebook. Crossplay is possible between Xbox One and PC with this one simple trick. Actually, it's more like 5 or 10 or something. All right, here's how you do it. Good. Open your Minecraft Dungeons on PC. Sit at the main menu. On Xbox One, have a friend send a Minecraft Dungeons game invite to your Xbox Live account. Press the Win key plus G. Click the check mark on the social widget notification to accept the invite. This invitation is no longer valid error message will display. Click OK anyway. Press the H key to switch your hero, press the S key to change your skin, and then click Done, and you will enter the Xbox One game session. So
that is ridiculous, and I hate it.
But that's good news for those of us that are wanting some cross-play. It sounds like they are going to make it to where you can play with a lot of different systems. Otherwise, there'd be no way to do this and it work, even with this crazy workaround. So I'm pretty happy. We might all be hunting down the Arch Illager together in the near future. Yeah. By the way, I beat the game on normal last night.
Dude.
Yeah.
I've only played through like the second level, and then I just got almost destroyed by the cauldron at the end of it. Like it kept spitting out the purple slimes, and I couldn't get rid of them fast enough before it started spitting out more.
Dude,
oh my god.
There are some artifacts in that game that are absolutely OP. It's great. I got arrows that push back and go slow, and then I got that mixed with a crossbow that shoots out 10 projectiles. It's insane.
There's another game bug that I have seen recently, or heard of recently. The game Maneater. This is for, surprisingly, the PS4 Pro and the Xbox Series X, not the OG versions of them.
Did they just get it mixed up like I do?
No, maybe. So, on the PS4 Pro, and I have actually seen this, dude, the fan will start kicking like it is playing Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Huh.
And it's not that big of a game. It's not that labor intensive. Now, the Xbox Series X, the bug that is happening with it, and sometimes it'll turn off the PS4. The kind of the same bug is happening on the Xbox One X, but you get the it'll just like hard turn it off. I mean, just like you remove the power cord, and then when it starts back up, it'll say that it was an overheating error.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a nasty memory leak or something up. They need to fix that ASAP. That does not get the Nintendo seal of approval.
I don't think it's on Nintendo.
I know, but it doesn't get it.
Like, that game is super fun, but that is super scary.
All right, let's go on to the rumors and fake news. So we only have one that I want to talk about. Reset Era board member Tusharn, that's the name, stated that the Xbox Series X production has started in Malaysia and China already on last week's Monday. And they're going at full capacity, which is completely different than what we just heard, rumored for Nintendo's units, which have had issues with Malaysian production due to the gobbles. So this was supposedly confirmed info with the mod, so it's totally legitimate. Totally.
But is it?
No, it's not. It's not legitimate at all. All right, so that is the rumor that the Xbox One X or Series, whatever it's called, is going ahead. All right, guys, let's talk about the Game Pass. plus Game Pass or Games with Gold releases for April. So, Games with Gold, June 2020, we are going to have Shantae and the Pirate Curse.
Dude, get this game.
It's
Seriously.
the Xbox One version, too.
Get it.
Then there's a game called Coffee Talk, which is more of a... it's not a very action-packed game. It's more story-based, and it has made some people very angry at the Xbox One Reddit in comparison to what the PlayStation is releasing, like Call of Duty World War II.
I don't know, man. Last month's PlayStation was awful. They gave away City Skylines and Farming Simulator 19.
Oh, nice. Well, you know, they made up for it this month, I guess. And then Cine Mora, which is a... I don't really know what that game is. To be honest, it looks cool, though. All right.
You forgot Destroy All Humans.
Oh, yeah, and Destroy All Humans, which is a fun time. Those are both Xbox 360.
They're about to release a Destroy All Humans remake.
Oh, yeah, that is true. So you can go get those, download them if you have Games with Gold, and keep them. All right, next up is the thing that more people are using, Game Pass. Now, first up, there is a perk this month for Game Pass Ultimate users where you can get Spotify Premium for 3 months, unless you're like me and already subscribe to the family plan, and it doesn't matter. So,
yep.
Next up, Red Dead Redemption 2 dropped last month. So, I've been playing that. I talked a little bit about hunting a bear with it with a friend that plays it on PlayStation, and I died when he told me to press circle whenever I was pulling out my knife. So... Yep, that's about right. DayZ, the, I guess, infamous crowdsourced zombie online shooter game that has changed a lot.
Yeah. DayZ was originally a mod for maybe Arma, one of those online multiplayer shooters.
Yeah, it was. I know a lot of people complain about it because it's not like it was back in the day. I mean, games change. Next up, Final Fantasy IX is on Game Pass. Fractured Minds, which is a game that is supposed to take you through kind of like an artistic walk through different mental deficiencies or psychotic tendencies or schizophrenia and things like that. Psychosis, different disorders and things. So that's an interesting one that's come out. Golf with Your Friends is quite a bit more lighthearted. Rowdy, you played Golf with Your Friends, right?
Dude, this game, we need to stream it.
Yes.
It is awesome. It's ridiculous. It's, it's made by Team 17, the people who did like The Escapists and Worms.
Overcooked.
So it is a ridiculous game. I don't know if you've seen it, but I mean, it's obviously a golf game. But you can use different power-ups to kind of mess with the other characters and stuff while they're playing. There are ridiculous. It's mini golf. So there are these ridiculous courses where you could like some of them you need like a jetpack to get through. Like the gravity's weird on some of them. It's awesome. I've seen a whole lot of gameplay for quite some time for the beta version that's on PC, and people have made a ton of levels for it. I don't know if you'll be able to play those user-generated ones on the console, but this game is totally worth it.
And it's on Game Pass. Go download it. Now, real quick, I want to mention something I'm seeing in the chat about Coffee Talk, which we just talked about as Games with Gold. It looks... Can you really... Rowdy says you can wear a Shrek costume while talking about coffee. Is this true?
No, not at all.
It's a lie. Just making sure. I was like, really? Skylar is saying Coffee Talk like SNL talk amongst yourselves. Mike Myers Coffee Talk. All right.
That's why I said you could dress as Shrek.
Yeah. Talks amongst yourselves, kids, while we do the news. All right. Next up is Alan Wake is coming to the Game Pass. It seems like a game you've played.
Okay, so I actually know some weird history about Alan Wake.
Hit us with the history.
That game, like, always goes in and out of, the online stores. There are always disputes, license disputes with Alan Wake.
Really?
It was made by the same people who did Quantum Break and Control.
Oh.
And it turns out that Alan Wake is in the same universe as Control. Has been confirmed in the game Control, and the newest expansion pack for Control apparently talks about the Alan Wake universe.
Interesting.
So you should probably go play this because there's probably going to be some kind of license dispute, and it's going to be taken away pretty quick.
They're going to come for them. All right, next up, City Skylines is on Game Pass.
City Skylines is on everything.
Yeah, I know.
For free.
Now, that was all this last month. Next month, the game that has been announced, and this is the only one that I know of, is No Man's Sky, coming in June. I'm excited about that. I really enjoyed that game on the PC. It ran okay. I'm curious to see what it runs like on the Xbox One X.
Like butter.
Like butter. As the Coffee Talk with Linda Richmond said. All right. All right, so I wanted to include this too. Games that have left Game Pass. That means that you might not have known about this, but you need to go erase them because you got more games to put on your hard drive. So Grand Theft Auto 5, Black Desert, Doom, Lego Ninjago Movie, Mega Man Legacy Collection 2, Metal Gear Solid, The Banner Saga, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, #IDARB, Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, Hydro Thunder Hurricane, King of Fighters 98, and Old Man's Journey are no longer on Game Pass.
That was Metal Gear Survive, not Metal Gear Solid.
Sorry, Metal Gear Survive. I said it wrong.
Metal Gear Survive is a turd of a game.
Well, speaking of that, we have survived the Xbox One Series X segment. You got anything else before we move on to multi-platform and upcoming games?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right, guys, we will see you after the break.
Stop recording. Okay.
Oh, my nose is so stopped up.
It's because you're dumb.
I hate this. By about halfway through the podcast, it's always stopped up, and I can't breathe. I'm just going to die on camera whenever I have a lot to talk about. Oh, I hate that. I don't know what it is. I need to go get this side blown up. I was telling you about that the other day. This nostril is all wonky because I got hit in the face with a baseball bat in kindergarten T-ball.
So they go do that surgery where they put a balloon in your nose, blow it up, and break everything.
Pop it. Ugh. That sounds terrifying. But, man, it'd be nice to be able to breathe. Ugh. I'm trying not to, like, breathe into the camera. I'm doing it now. People on Twitch just have to deal with it.
Breathing is nice.
Breathing. I'm just gonna have to like stick a straw up there. I need to be intubated for this podcast.
I wouldn't suggest that. One bit.
Yeah, you've had to intubate people before, right? You know how to do this.
Yeah, you can't talk if you're intubated.
Dang it. Okay, I might have overlooked that fact. Do you want to start up the next section? Oh, or do I need to? Let me.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Let me see what this summer game thing is real quick. Let me open that up on the hyperlink. There's. Oh, you added news too. Awesome.
Yeah, I got a little bit on there.
Okay. Let me see if there's anything worth mentioning, other than mentioning it. IGN Summer of Gaming charity events. People are going to stream things. Yeah. So I don't think there's anything new really being shown, but I wouldn't doubt it. Do we want to even include that?
Include what?
I don't think so. All right. I'm gonna break that out of there. I thought it was more of like a generic E3 replacement, but it's basically like IGN saying, "Hey, watch our streams."
I mean, it
So
kind of is an E3 replacement.
yeah, but it's gonna be all the stuff in E3 that I don't like, where they get like people to go stream games and basketball players to stream, or the YouTube icons and Twitter people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna actually be
IGN's
gaming stuff.
IGN's doing one. Jeff Keighley's doing one.
All the cool kids
Uh,
are.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right. You ready?
Let's go. Do you want to start with your news items and then we'll do the Evercade afterwards since I got all that?
I'll start with the Tony Hawk. I'll start with the Dead by Daylight one because that one's not all that cool, but
Do
it's worth
it.
it. Okay. All right. You ready?
Yeah, I can breathe, I think.
All
Okay.
right. I am recording now. Pull the notes back up here. And ready to clap?
Clapping time.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Before we get started with the multi-platform PC gaming and upcoming release news, if you like our stuff, we do here on the show, make sure to check out at LamerGamersCast on Twitter, at LamerGamersPodcast on Instagram, and throw a review down on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. Was that dramatic enough?
Super dramatic. By the way, if we've been noticing a lot of people have been listening on Apple Podcasts lately, so thank you guys for that's our #1 platform so far. So those of you that are listening, thank you very much. Pandora, second place, man. Really surprised. Yeah, somebody's listening on Pandora. Thank you guys. All right. What's the news?
Man. So let's see here. Multi-platform PC. So Dead by Daylight has announced its latest crossover collaboration at this time, and the collaboration is with an iconic horror game franchise. Starting today, the public test server, Cheryl Mason and Pyramid Head from the Silent Hill series are available on Dead by Daylight as the new survivor and killer, respectively. Aside from a 2017 collaboration with Left 4 Dead that included Bill as a playable character, Dead by Daylight Silent Hill is the first time a survivor and killer from another video game series have been added. Have you ever watched anything about Dead by Daylight?
Nope. I need to play it.
So,
Is it on the passes or stuff?
I
Xbox
don't think
Game
it's on
Pass.
Game Pass. It's on pretty much every system. I think even the Switch. But it's like Friday the 13th. Dead by Daylight kind of got overshadowed by Friday the 13th because it was actually going to release first, and then out of nowhere, here comes Friday the 13th. But it is an asymmetrical type online multiplayer game. But you pick a monster, and each monster has like different abilities and stuff.
By the way, in the Twitch chat, Skylar says it is on Game Pass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You should check it out then. So there's a bunch of different monsters you could play as, unlike Friday the 13th, where you could only play as Jason. But they've been adding like all kinds of survivors and new monsters for it and stuff. Like at one point, one of the survivors they added was Ash from the Evil Dead and Army of Darkness series, which is super awesome. But it's pretty cool, man. But here's the thing. So this is based off of Silent Hill. Could that have been why all the Konami rumors were started?
Ooh.
Maybe, possibly.
Maybe it's going to be synergistic with a new Silent Hill game.
I mean, we'll see.
We do see that Konami is announcing a game for PC and Switch.
Weird.
Maybe. Of course, that's a rumor.
What else we got here? Okay, here we go. So, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 won't have microtransactions at launch. ... At launch. So, Activision is known for putting microtransactions in games after launch. So, like when they did, the remake of Crash Team Racing, they released the game. It had no microtransactions in it. Everybody put out their reviews for it. It got rave reviews. And then after all the reviews and everything came out and everybody bought it, then they added the microtransactions into it. That's
how they get you, man.
but
They release something good, and they're like, "Hey, microtransactions." Yeah.
So what they've said is that the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remasters won't feature microtransactions at launch, but they could arrive later down the line if fans demand more content. Vicarious Visions boss Jen O'Neill told the outlet, "Everything that you see at launch is going to be unlocked with gameplay. We're not planning on having monetization at launch." So Vicarious Visions is apparently the company that's working on this one. But Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is an Activision title. So we'll see, man. Maybe they'll add in more skaters. Maybe more of the the skate parks that were in later games, maybe, because you're getting the skate parks from part 1 and part 2. So maybe they'll add some from like 3, 4, and then the ridiculous other amounts of Tony Hawk games there were.
If I remember correctly, I think Vicarious Visions has been involved with Tony Hawk for a while.
I mean, it would make sense. But I don't know. I'm totally getting the game, but we'll see what happens with those microtransactions.
All right. So next up, BlizzCon has been canceled. So if you're, yeah, I mean, we reported that as a rumor, I think, last month, but it is official. So just letting you know in advance, don't expect anything from them. And then the last thing, something I didn't realize.
You didn't discover this until like right before the podcast.
Yeah, it's bonkers. So there is a new gaming system coming out called the Evercade. It's an interesting little system. I think this might be the thing that Atari has been dealing with. I could be wrong, but they are definitely...
No. The thing that Atari's doing is actually a home console.
Oh, okay. But Atari is heavily invested in this somehow because they are loaning their games to it. So the way this works is it basically looks like almost like a Game Boy Advance in a sense. But definitely more retroized, I guess, if that's going to be a word I'm going to use today. And you put in cartridges that look like old Atari cartridges, and instead of having one game, it's like a collection of games. So it's $79.99. It releases on June 5th. It will actually upscale all these games' graphics to HD. It will actually, it looks like the screen is a 16:9 ratio, but it will play them on 4:3 mode if you want it to. The screen size is very similar to a PSP. There are save states. There is a 4-hour battery life. I am assuming whenever it says battery life, this is plugged in, by the way. I do see a plug on the console itself, and it's not replaceable batteries, because who wants that nowadays? To buy 1,000 AA batteries. And it's going to have HDMI connectivity for your TV. Now, it's going to come with the Atari Cartridge Collection 1, which is going to include the Atari 2600 games Adventure, Alien Brigade, Asteroids, Canyon Bomber, Centipede, Crystal Castles, Desert Falcon, and Double Dunk. But there are other cartridges. For instance, you can buy the Interplay collection, which Interplay is known for games like Clay Fighter or Earthworm Jim. Super excited about stuff like that. Namco Museum is going to be on there. Pico, Technos, and some other famous arcade cabinet hardware, essentially. So if you are into retro gaming, I mean, honestly, all these games are probably available on consoles you already own. They're probably available on the Switch too. So if you own one of those, you might want to look that way. But if you're looking for... there are no reviews for it right now other than people that have probably been paid for the reviews. It looks like things have been positive so far. We'll see how it goes. It might be a good, Christmas present for somebody in the future. So I'm going to keep my eye on it because it's interesting. I'm more interested in like the Interplay stuff and the not quite so retro games. I want to play some of those arcade cabinet games. Now, it does say there's HDMI connectivity to the TV. I would assume you're using the controller itself and there's no secondary controllers. And I'm curious to see if there's going to be multiplayer on here, which would make some of these arcade games not really worth it to me.
You're probably the only person that's curious about it.
Yeah, that's probably true. It's interesting. We'll see. We'll talk about it in the future if it becomes a thing. Skylar put, when you really want a PS5, but grandma got you an Evercade and tells you it's the same thing. Oh man, that's going to happen this Christmas. Somebody's going to be angry.
True.
All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and move on to the not April, it's May. The May game releases, and then we're going to talk about the games coming up in June. So, first up, a game that released for the Switch and PS4 was a game that, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it, Rowdy. Void Bastards.
Uh-oh.
It's the title. I can say it. Okay? Which is kind of like it's a shooter, but it's done in like a comic style. It's on Game Pass and has been there for a while. So if you've got those systems, you can play it there. This one, do you want to just hop back and forth on these?
Okay, man.
Yeah.
So
tell me about this one.
Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl came out May 7th. So you pointed out that so it's Switch and PC, but you also pointed out that there is an NES version. If you go to, Limited Run Gaming, you could actually get this on an NES cartridge and play it in an NES. That's crazy, man. I love Limited Run games for that stuff they do.
I love the colors they have. They have J Yellow, Silent Bob Green, or NES Gray.
That's funny.
But
yeah, this game it's like a 8-bit beat 'em up. It looks very reminiscent of River City Ransom.
Yeah, it looks like I might have to check that out. Probably it'll be on Game Pass in the future. Just watch. Next up, we have Pong Quest. It's a RPG about Pong.
Weird.
Yeah, that's releasing for Switch on May 7th. It has the happiest little Pong character. I really have no clue what it's about. But if you're like, I don't know, 60 and you remember Pong back in the good old days,
it has already released on May 7th.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. All these games have released. I forgot about that. What's up next?
All right. So on May 8th, Super Mash came out. That is a game that you may have possibly seen me play on stream, where you basically mash up two genres and it randomly generates a game. So it's not as in-depth as it sounds, but it's still pretty fun to play. Travis says he thinks it might be more fun to watch than play.
I would. I would be frustrated by it because it does have very broken versions of games in it at times.
Yeah.
There's a story sewed into these weird hacked together games. It's a story. I wouldn't say it's a good story.
So at the beginning of the game, it actually does point out that some of the games will be broken or have a ridiculous amount of difficulty.
Yeah. All right, next game up on the list, Hunt Down. Is that the one that you streamed also?
Yes, I also streamed this one. This is like a side-scroller shoot 'em up.
And that's
you play as these bounty hunters in the future. Super fun. It's also pretty freaking hard.
Yeah, and it's available for all consoles. And the bosses are crazy in this game.
Yeah, pretty ridiculous, man. There was that Macho Man Randy Savage ripoff guy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's weird, man.
All right, next one is TT Isle of Man Ride on the Edge 2 for the Switch. If you're into the racing genre in that specific style of racing where they go really, 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 really fast, and you might like it on the Switch now.
It's motorcycle racing.
Yeah, it's motorcycle. You go fast. All right, next up, what we got next?
Scroll Blades.
Dull Blades on the Switch though.
Next.
Cooking
Next.
Simulator is coming to the Switch. You can catch everything on fire. If you've never played Cooking Simulator, it's by the same people that do Surgeon Simulator, which are very tongue-in-cheek games. They're
Broken.
yeah, it's made to be kind of funny and dumb. So you can, you're like supposed to make eggs or something, and you might accidentally chop off your hand. I don't know if you can do that, but you can definitely catch everything on fire. All right, next up. What's up next, Rowdy?
Oddworld Munch's Odyssey. The Oddworld games are very odd.
Are they? It seems like their entire world is odd to me.
Yeah, they're weird, man. There was that one they just released here a while back that was the first-person shooter type. But I think that Munch's Odyssey is one of their side-scroller games. I could be wrong, but they're weird, man.
So it's coming to the Switch, and what hasn't it been on already, to be honest? I guess the Switch.
It originally came out for, around the PS1 era, maybe?
All right. So I'll go ahead, because I unfortunately know about these next two games. Dungeon. This next one, if you're a fan of procedurally generated games, Dungeon of the Endless is coming out for the Switch. So that might be one to look at if you're into those kind of games. But Hatsune Miku Project Diva Mega Mix is a music game coming out for the Switch. I'm just including it because I do know people that are actually interested in that game. It is not my cup of tea.
So Hatsune Miku is that computer-generated J-pop star. And what's funny, I'd never heard of this. So like I looked it up one day and I found out that there is actually a Hatsune Miku guitar pedal where when you play notes on your guitar, it makes it sound like Hatsune Miku is singing. Weird. It's also super expensive.
This is the collapse of society when this stuff happens, guys. That's really what it is. All right, next up. Hey, this one you might be interested in, Rowdy.
Tetris Effect on Oculus. I actually may look into that. I'm not a big Tetris fan, but Tetris Effect looked real cool, and playing it in VR, that might be something cool, man.
Yeah, that would be kind of crazy. I'm curious to see what that's like. Be interesting if we can figure out a way to stream it too. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we have Wonderful 101 Remastered came out for the PS4, Switch, and PC. Not good reviews though. Apparently it runs pretty rough.
So the main thing I've seen about this game is that it's just super hard to do the formations. Because on the Wii U, you did it by drawing on the gamepad.
Yeah, well, actually, they say the Switch version runs at a lower frame rate. It's like really rough.
Again, with the frame rate.
Yeah, I know. It's just bonkers. Yeah, so that's
for your friends.
This one, honestly, though, was kind of somewhat of a cash grab, and they've mentioned that too. Like the game was ready to go. They did a Kickstarter for it. They're basically using it as a way to put towards their next game, possibly a sequel. Hey,
yeah, it's platinum. It's Platinum Games, and they better put some of that money towards the next Nier game.
There you go. Next up, the one that Rowdy
Golf with your friends.
It's on the Switch.
Dude, I'm telling you, you need to go watch videos of people playing golf with your friends. Because if you sit there and you just try and start it up, you're not going to be that interested in it. You need to see some videos on YouTube of how much fun people are having playing this game. And when you see some of the later levels, you will instantly be hooked on this, man. Guaranteed.
Sound like the parent that's got a kid that's sitting inside. It's like, hey, you see those kids? You can go out and have fun with them. You'd have a lot more fun than sitting in here.
It's true.
Yeah.
Or like my parents used to say, go play on the highway.
You lived really close to the highway. That's scary.
Dude, one block away.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Maneater. Do you know anything about that?
Yes, I do. Maneater is that one I was telling you about that's got the bug for PS4
oh, that's
Pro
right.
and Xbox One X. But in Maneater, you play as a freaking shark.
Oh, that's right. It's also on the PS4 right now, by the way. So you play as a shark.
You play as a shark. So you actually the tutorial for the game. You start out as the shark's mother, and then like it teaches you how to play it. Then you take over playing as the shark baby, and then you have to evolve into a teenage adolescent shark, into an adult shark, and then you can also get different evolutions, like bioelectric teeth that can stun fish or people that you eat or that you try to eat. It's basically Grand Theft Auto, but you're a shark. Like you go out, and the more havoc that you cause, the more people start to notice. So then rednecks will try and come hunt you in their boats, and then you have to like eat them off of their boats. And the more people you eat, like I said, the more noticed you get. So then these unique bounty hunters will come out. Well, maybe not unique. There's a set of bounty hunters that will come out. And then you unlock more stuff by eating them. It's basically like if you ever wanted to be a shark, this is your game.
It's a sharky shark world.
Dude, it's
Shark
awesome,
eat everything
man.
world.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's so much comedy in it. And then what's his name? Chris Parnell is the narrator for the game. So if you're a fan of Archer and you like Cyril Figgis, this whole game is narrated by him.
All right, so next up is Quantum League on PC. We talked about Quantum League. It was something that was announced at an indie Nintendo Direct indie thing. It's basically a what is it, like a MOBA? And you play until you die, and then a second version of you pops up while that first version of you is constantly repeating. So it's an interesting concept. I haven't looked up any reviews for it, but I'm waiting for it to come on the Switch. Yeah.
I was totally thinking that was a different game. Never mind.
Oh, was I right?
Yeah, no. You're right.
Okay.
I was thinking something else.
All right, next up.
This is like one of your favorites right here.
Yeah, Phantasy Star Online 2, man, is finally out for the PC in America. America. Now, yeah, I have so many other games to play. That's the problem. I started playing it, but I stopped playing it. Next one, looks like Ninjala has come out for the Switch. Ninjala to me is kind of like the answer to Xbox's Bleeding Edge. It's another kind of MOBA game, but you're cutesy ninjas. I still haven't played it. I need to probably stream it this week because I believe it's free.
I think it's a Splatoon ripoff.
Maybe, but I like Splatoon. Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Minecraft Dungeons.
Yeah, it's been released on like all the things, guys. That game happened. Then Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition released for the Switch. It's good. Go play it if you've never played a Xenoblade Chronicles game. This one has what I consider the best story. Rowdy can't tell you that because he hasn't beaten it yet. So we're going to peer pressure him until he beats the game. That's the plan.
I could still say, I guarantee you that Xenoblade Chronicles X will still be my favorite.
You know, it's probably my favorite.
Although Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 definitely would have better stories. Well, I haven't beaten. I've only got like 5 hours into Xenoblade Chronicles. Well, I've technically been like 10 hours into it when I played it on Wii U. Well, the Wii version on Wii U.
Back in the day.
But there's so much that came out, I couldn't finish it. So playing this new up-resed, better-looking version, it's going to be awesome. But Xenoblade Chronicles X, that needs to come out on the Switch.
Absolutely. I'm really hoping that's like something that's announced. And they were just waiting for Definitive Edition to finish.
Yeah.
I hope so.
We'll see, man.
All right, next one. Do you know anything about Warface, Rowdy?
No? Warface Breakout?
It's basically a free-to-play shooter game with like, you have like 32 people playing at a time. It's on PS4 and Xbox One. It has been released on the Switch. I think Breakout is DLC. And
oh, wait, no. I have seen that. I saw the guys from Funhouse playing it.
Gotcha.
It looks like a generic, like free-to-play first-person shooter.
Yeah. And then we have, to round off the list, 2K Games released a whole bunch of collections on the Switch. this last month.
Borderlands, BioShock, XCOM.
Oh, I forgot XCOM on the list. Yeah. If you like those games, they're now on the Switch. Enjoy. All right, so that is the games for May. Did I miss any that were interesting that you could think of?
No.
All right, well, let's move to the games in June. You're going to have to tell me about some of these because I don't even know what these are.
I just want to point out that because of the gobbles, there's not much coming out in the next few months.
Well, we also have our kind of E3-ish announcements. So, yeah.
Well, and then also these upcoming games that we're talking about, these are kind of handpicked with what we think we and the people that listen to us would like, because there's just a lot of just turds out there that are going to release.
Very true. There are some interesting arts for some of these games.
So, have you ever played a Rock of Ages game?
I have not. Is this like Guitar Hero?
No. So, Rock of Ages 3 Make and Break is coming out on June 2nd for Xbox One, PS4, Stadia, PC, and Switch. So, Rock of Ages, you start at the top of a hill, and you are a rock. And
do you age?
Roll the rock. Okay, so the ages comes from the different levels that you can pick. So, a lot of the ones that I've seen from Rock of Ages 1 and 2, you'll be rolling through like Roman and like Greek architecture. So you'll be knocking over these columns and like you roll through and ramp up like an agora and stuff like that. So the Rock of Ages is basically just they pick like a time frame in history and you roll through it and destroy it.
Nice.
So also on June 2nd for PC, you have Valorant coming out. So this is basically, God, I forget who was putting this out. I probably should have put that in the notes. But it is the new online shooter. God, what's that one that's big right now that everybody plays? Oh my God.
Fortnite.
All right, well,
do people play that still?
Which one?
Fortnite.
No, not that. I don't know. It's one of those. But it's like the new PC shooter that's coming out, and that's going to be, I think, the next big esports game. Well, that comes out June 2nd on PC. One that Travis is really interested in on June 5th, 51 Worldwide Classics for Switch.
51 Worldwide Classics for Switch. Do you know what those games are?
Oh God!
Before I say them, because I am going to. It's going to happen. A lot of these games are playable on multiplayer. Some are solo, like Solitaire. You're of course not going to play online with other people. There are some minor stories to this, but also there's a lot of rip-off games that are called other things. Like there's one called Yacht. It's Yahtzee. So, yeah. All right. Here goes. Now, I don't know if you're going to need to speed this up or whatnot in post, but I'm going to go fast. You ready?
Okay.
Mancala, Hanafuda, Backgammon, Renegade, Checkers, President, Amado, Speed, Hare and Hounds, Blackjack, Four in a Row, Chess, Shogi, Mini Shogi, Ludo, Richie Manca, Sevens, Golf, Darts, Texas Hold'em, Nine Men's Morris, Air Hockey, War, Carm, Chinese Checkers, Yacht Dice, Tequila, Billiards, Hex, Spider Solitaire, Gumaku, Matching, Bowling, Shooting Gallery, Slot Cars, Dots and Boxes, Hit and Blow, Pig's Tail, Mahjong, Solitaire, Last Card, Fishing, Klondike, Solitaire, Toy Tennis, Toy Soccer, Toy Curling, Toy Boxing, Toy Baseball, Battle Tanks, Team Tanks, Sliding Puzzle, and Six Ball Puzzle! I did it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You could be a mumble rapper.
I could. We just started our... You need to take that, and we're going to put that to music. But there are a lot of games. There actually have a lot of things that are old Wii Sports games. Like there's bowling in it that is very similar to the Wii Sports version. There's the Team Tanks games, which was on the Wii Play. Like an add-on that came with a special motion controller. I am super excited about it. It is going to be a good family party game on couch co-op, or you could even play online and with friends. I am super nerdly excited about it. Nerdly. All right.
Nerds.
All right. Speaking of things that I nerd out about too, The Outer Worlds is coming to Switch on June 5th.
Man, I ugh. I love the Outer Worlds, but ugh.
Okay, can you talk about this next game while I step away for a second?
Dude, Command and Conquer Remastered Collection. So this is gonna have Command and Conquer, the original one, all of the expansions. It's gonna have remastered soundtrack, new visuals. Now it was originally made by Westwood Studios, but of course they were dissolved by EA. So I'm really wondering how this may pan out, because we've seen recently how Blizzard completely mishandled how was it Warcraft 3 Reforged looked. So we'll see if EA, remastering Command and Conquer is going to be any good. I mean, I'm super excited about the remastered soundtrack. Actually, I'm excited about everything in it. I'll take that back. Everything. It's going to be awesome.
So I've recently started playing on Friday nights with a cousin of mine, Age of Mythology, like the HD version. Mm-hmm. So this might have to be added to our collection of old school strategy games to play.
Dude, Command & Conquer is so good. I love that series.
I remember like hanging out at your house playing Command & Conquer. Or the demos.
So dude, my favorite was always Command & Conquer Red Alert 2. Mm-hmm. When they remastered that, holy crap, man.
All right, looks like next up there is a new version of Elder Scrolls Online, an add-on for the Greymoor. So
I think that actually might take place in Skyrim.
Okay.
I think that might be, it takes place in the Skyrim area, and you have to fight vampires, if I'm not mistaken.
When you run out of ideas, throw in vampires and werewolves.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
And then zombies. Well, actually, zombies probably come first into I'm out of ideas and need content zone. So zombies, vampires,
Elder Scrolls,
werewolves.
Elder Scrolls, they're called Draugr.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just zombies. That's on June 9th. And one that I know some people that are really excited about, Burnout Paradise, coming to the Switch June 19th.
Dude, it's going to be awesome.
It's a good
game.
game.
Games are so fun.
But to be honest, dude, you can get that game for like $5 at GameStop used on the PlayStation 4 or Xbox. So unless you don't own those systems, or you have a group of friends that are only going to be playing on the Switch, which I have that, there's no reason until they drop the price. And they're going to release this game for like $50 minimum.
Oh, well, I mean, a minimum 40, but probably 50.
It's going to cost you. That Switch Premium.
So, next on PS4, The Last of Us Part freaking 2.
Nobody cares about that game. Why are we talking about that?
You shut your face. June 19th, I will be playing that. I have to have so many games beaten by then. Oh.
Well, I mean,
starting a new job and all this.
You know what people are really excited about is the new SpongeBob SquarePants game, The Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated.
Dude.
That's the same day. Why did they put them on the same days? They're going to be battling out. Last of Us made a bad choice.
There are going to be a ridiculous amount of people that play that game. I guarantee it, man. I actually looked up videos of this game, and it actually looks good. Okay.
All right.
No. SpongeBob comes out on the 23rd.
Oh, okay. I read this list
a few days after Last of Us. So it looks like there's also the add-on for Control. Control the Foundation comes out for Xbox One. I actually thought this was already out, but apparently it comes out on June 25th. Borderlands 3 Bounty of Blood add-on,
really?
DLC, that comes out for PS4, PC, Stadia, and Xbox Uno on June 25th.
I just happened to get Borderlands 3, by the way, on the Xbox.
Dude, it's awesome. I freaking loved it. So there is a gun you could get in Borderlands 3 that shoots guns.
It's gunception. I will
It's
say,
a
as a tip to our listeners, GameStop is really hitting sales hard right now. Online sales. Check every now and then because they've been doing like buy two games, get one free, even new games, like
yeah,
crazy.
dude. I was gonna say it's not even the used ones, even the new ones.
Yeah.
They're doing buy two get one.
Yeah, I mean, granted,
Um,
you can hit up the used ones, they're still pretty good usually. So it might be something to check out. All right, so what else we got next?
the next one, I don't know if this is Anno or Anyo History Collection. That's a Ubisoft strategy game, like a bird's
Like
eye
a
view
world
strategy type game.
yeah.
So this is coming out on PC, and apparently it's some type of compilation. I guess there are multiple Anno.
There
Anyo
are a
games
bunch
on
of
there.
them, and they're in the past, in the future. It's a big series for people that are into strategy games.
Is
For
is it
people that
like
like
a Sid Meier's
Civilization.
game?
Yeah, it's stuff like
Okay,
that. I haven't played them, but I know a lot of people are like big into them. I just don't know those people.
gotcha.
Yeah.
And then the last one that we have cherry picked for everybody is The Blair Witch is coming out on Switch June 25th. The Blair Witch, man, that was it was an okay walking simulator game. I didn't finish it just because it got weird. I didn't like where things were going. Um,
The company
yeah.
that is making the Medium on the Xbox Series X made Blair Witch. So maybe more of the
I
same.
mean, it looked good and it played well. I just didn't like where the story was going.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that is it. I think we are out of things on this 3,500 word document that we wrote up for this episode. So thank you guys for listening. If you've been in the Twitch chat or hanging out with us as we record live here, thank y'all for dropping by. As always, give us a review. If you're watching this on YouTube, throw up a like. We would really appreciate it. And thanks for checking out the May newscast or news roundup. Next week, we will... I don't really know what we're doing next week. I don't think we've thought that far in advance.
No, not yet.
It's
At
either going to
least.
be a regular
Maybe-
episode or a side quest. So,
Yeah, probably a side quest. Well,
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll have to check our schedules.
I've been playing a lot of games. Maybe we'll just talk about the games we've been playing, and that'll be like an hour and a half long.
That could be it. All right, guys. Thanks for listening to the official podcast of the Lamers and Working Class Gamers.
Boop.
Yeah.
Alright.
Let me hit the stop button and see if my computer explodes.
And hit that save button.
Yeah, and hey, those on the Twitch stream, I'm about to stop the Twitch thing. So, thank you guys for dropping by, and y'all have a good one.